Welcome to Developer Week. My name is Justin. I'm a product manager here at Macrometa. I'm here with Josh Johnson from Akamai and Dino Lazino from Macrometa. Today we're going to have a workshop with Akamai and Macrometa to talk through Akamai Workers and the Macrometa platform and how they work seamlessly together to create a powerful partnership. Dino, can you introduce yourself real quick?
My name is Dino. I'm engineer over at Macrometa, and in the next couple of minutes I will be showing you how to build full globally distributed applications.
Great. Josh?
I'm Josh Johnson, Senior Enterprise Architect at Akamai, and here in the next couple of minutes I'm going to be going through a little bit of a review of what Akamai is as a CDN provider and how our Edge network can be used to enhance your application.
Awesome. Thanks. Josh, I think you have a couple slides you put together to walk through. Can you pop those open and educate us?
I do. So if you're not familiar with Akamai, we are the largest, most distributed CDN in the world. As you see from the slides here, we have our servers located in over 4,100 points of presence and 135 countries. And by having our servers distributed around the world, this lets us provide our products, our content delivery, our security, and now our edge compute, and provide these products at a very low latency. So by having our servers very close to the users, that allows the users to access our servers very quickly, retrieve that content, have the security checks in place, and run that compute as close to the user as possible with as minimal latency, improving the web experience. Recently, we've added the ability to run your own code at the edge. We've deployed the V8 JavaScript engine through our product of ours called EdgeWorkers. This lets you write your own JavaScript code, deploy it to the Akamai platform, and run your code from servers across the globe. The code itself isn't usually all you need. You usually need data to go along with that code to inform those decisions or to store data about activities that a user may be performing. And so when we look at where this code is and where the data is, we have a lot of choices. As developers, we can put data and code running at the client. So for example, in the web browser or in a native mobile application on a mobile device, running in millions of locations, very close, right in the user's hands. Or we can go all the way to the right side of this graph and put data in the cloud, such as the Linode cloud, which Akamai acquired earlier this year. With running data of your code and putting your data in the cloud, you have your data in a few locations, but you have access to much higher compute capabilities in those locations than what's in the devices on a user's hands. But oftentimes you want something in between where it's something that's going to be closer to the user than the cloud core, but with more compute resources than you have available on the device itself. And so from there, we can use the Akamai Edge and we can run applications at the edge close to the user in thousands of locations with very low latency. But the amount of compute available per device, per server, is still much smaller than what would be available on a cloud. And so on the other side, moving to the right a little bit, we have the Macrometa product. With storing data in Macrometa in hundreds of locations, it has access to more compute power than what would be available at the pure raw edge close to the user, and still a much lower latency than what you would have at the cloud core, improving that performance. And so this forms a continuum where all the way from client to cloud, there's locations in between, whether that's the Akamai Edge or the Macrometa database, where code can be executed and data can be stored, so you can choose the right location for your application.
Hello, my name is Dino Lazina. I'm engineer over at Macrometa. I'm happy that I have a chance to show you one interesting demo. In next couple of minutes, I will show you how to build truly globally distributed applications. Challenge when building global applications is performance due to latency. With Macrometa platform, we can have data that maintains state and consistency across all the locations up to 175 locations. That is the data part of the application. Real-life application needs to have data, but we need to run code somewhere. That is where Akamai partnership comes into this story. with Akamai EdgeWorkers, we can run code near the users as well. So with this kind of architecture, we are maximizing performance of our applications since the data and the compute functions are closer to the users. This kind of architecture was reserved only for big companies. Now any developer can harness the power of the edge. In this demo, we have built truly distributed global application. This is the front end of the application, and I will show you how we build the back end of the application as well. In the front end application, we are showing some data because every real-life application has data. We have used Northwind Traders dataset. Northwind Traders dataset is an interesting set that Microsoft Office shipped long ago with his Office, and just to showcase access capabilities. And now that Northwind Traders set became Hello World example for any database. So we can check what do we have actually in the data. Oh, by the way, Northwind Traders are fictional company that imports, exports food. So we have suppliers data, we have products data, etc. So now let's jump into the backend. In the Macrometa console, we can see all the locations where the data is present. And to log into this console, you will need a Macrometa account. And if you don't have one, you can just create it for free because we enabled this Macrometa playground for all the developers to test our platform. So that data that you saw at our front end is replicated on these locations. We have 11 locations here presented, but we can have up to 175 locations. So let us go to collections. In the collections, we will see how Northwind data set is structured. We have divided that data in a couple of collections, and I can just skim over one collection. I can go to customers, and we can see that we have 93 documents in this collection. And let us just check one data point. We can see address, city, company name, etc. So now let's just show how we actually built the backend of the application. Data is on the platform and it is distributed. I can go to Query Workers menu and I can write queries. Actually, this is one test query that I have written to just get all the customers from the collection. I can save that query, I can run that query and test it if it works. And you can see that we got all the data from the collection since we have 93 results, and we can see how performative query actually is. And we can just go to query info and see what actions did we took and why this query was processed in that way. So perhaps we can optimize. Now, this is the part of the story where the Akamai partnership comes into place. We can generate EdgeWorker. Akamai EdgeWorker let us actually, or should I say, enable us to bring the compute functions near the users. You will need an Akamai account and input just credentials here in the menu Manage Integrations, and then we can generate an EdgeWorker. Let's say get customers test 3. And the description is test. And now when I click generate, I will do that now. I am generating Edge Worker on Akamai platform that will actually run this query. The most important thing is that Akamai has more than 1,000 points of presence. So that is actually the main goal of this application. When I say totally distributed application, I mean that data is distributed near the user and also the compute power is distributed near the users. I did a couple of edge workers beforehand because we need a couple of minutes to deploy all the edge workers on the Akamai CDN on all of that 1,000 and more points of presence. But we can check, let's say, for example, products. I have written query for products. Oh, I can filter the data as well. I don't have to show something that I don't need on my front end as well. So I can basically run this query. I can see the total number of documents because my front-end framework needs that information, but we also created paging since it is a good practice to create paging on our front end. We are never returning all the data on the front end. This is a small data set. Let's say we have total documents number 77, but it can be thousands. So that's why we actually created an offset. Offset is the point from where we are looking at the data. 0 is the first data point. And we are returning 10 results. And this is actually our edge worker. And I can go now to the functions. I can see that some of the edge workers are activated on the platform, but some of them, the one that I just created, is in pre-submit, and when actually it is deployed on Akamai platform, we will know. The beautiful thing is that we don't have to leave Macrometa console to create edge workers or anything else. So let's get back to our front-end side of things. So basically, when I click on suppliers, I'm calling the edge worker that will run the query. And in combination with data that is distributed, we have this kind of performance worldwide. So any user in any part of the world will have this same experience while running this application. That is something that is interesting. By the way, we have deployed this application on Macrometa GitHub, so GitHub pages, so you can test it out as well. I have to mention that we have a GitHub repository connected with this demo, so you can check the code. The thing that I didn't show in this demo is how we are actually calling our query workers from the front-end application. And you will see the power of Macrometa platform and the console as well, because with a couple of clicks we got all the functionality. We are running our code on the edge. So let's get back to the backend side of things. Let's say, for example, we want to check get products query worker. I can go to the details. I can see the name of the edge worker. I can see the Akamai resource URL. And actually, I can test the execution beforehand. Since because of the paging, we have offset. I will place 0 for test, and we have a limit as well on how many results we are returning. Limit, let's say it's 10. I can run the query worker inside the platform. So this is the result. This is what I need to get in my, let's say, for example, if I'm building React, I need to get this in my React application. So now let us just go to the code. This is typical React application, nothing special about that. But what I want to show you is the services part of things, where we actually are calling EdgeWorkers. And let's say that, for example, we have getSuppliers. This is self-explanatory. GetSuppliers method actually accepts page and page size. That is that offset and limit that we have sent. And then after that, we are calling invoke function. And invoke function is at the end of this code. And this is the place where we are calling EdgeWorker. So only one method is calling all of the EdgeWorkers that we created at the backend. Base URL is self-explanatory. We can get that from the console. Fabric as well. And the function name, we are actually looking now at the function name here. And the parameters are also at limit. So on your front end, this is the only thing that you need to add to exploit the power of Edge in a way. And that is why we have such a responsive application, and you can see how easy it is to just create the backend side of things, and the front end is not complicated as well, just to fill the data in the tables here. I want to show you one more feature that is specific to our platform. Okay, every application needs data, but we are returning here all the results for the products, but sometimes we need to search the data. And if I would to go to the backend side of things, we have one option called search views. Search view is something that I can create on the collection. I can click on create new. Let's say that we created a customer's search view. And in my document collection, I can choose the fields that need to be optimized for search. And basically that is the key, contact name, and company name. I can update or create new search view. And then in the same way like we created query workers or EdgeWorkers on Akamai platform, I can create a query from my view. I did that beforehand, so I will just show it. So this is the search view query, and I can, in the same manner like I did before, create an EdgeWorker. So EdgeWorker will actually run this query again near the user on the edge, and that's why I can have my search functionality in my application. So if I click on collection called products, I can search it with C, and we have a very fast search option. So I encourage you to look up our demo on GitHub and try it out by yourself. And to sum everything up, we have distributed data, we have actually distributed compute functions, and that enables us to build truly distributed application, and we can maximize performance of our applications worldwide.
Dino, that was a fantastic workshop. Thanks so much. I hope everyone got a lot of value out of that, and you got inspired to build something on the edge with Macrometa and Akamai.